Hey guys, Aaron here. This video has been 2.5 years in the making. It started out as an install video for a Garmin Catalyst. So if you guys have never seen this, stay tuned. It's a really cool GPS system specifically for the track. It videos your drive, gives you feedback, improves you at the track. So it's gonna go into this 2006 Porsche Cayman S, otherwise now known as the Crazy Cayman. But the video has become a whole lot more than that now. So while yes, you will see an unboxing and complete install video of this, it has gone past what I had originally intended it to be. When I started the video, I didn't know where it was gonna go, like most of my videos, but it ended up with actual manufactured mounts for this thing. So at the end of the video, you're actually gonna see that. And spoiler alert also, this is the original bracket that I designed for this car. I'm gonna show you how to make this exact bracket if you wanna make a mount yourself for about $1. Or if you want this final powder coated, beautifully bent product. Another shout out to BJ at McIntyre Manufacturing for making and producing these for me. I have a couple of these here with me. So stay tuned for all of that. If you are a YouTube channel that is bigger or the same size as mine and you would like one of these mounts to do a little review on it, to put a little info out there in the public for me, then reach out, let me know. Leave some comments below if you're interested in just buying one, because if I have enough interest, I will do a little production run. Or if you have any other clever way that you can think of that would get me some subscribers or interest in this mount for the track, let me know. Okay, now let's flash back 2.5 years to the beginning of this project. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I want to install this Garmin Catalyst in my 2006 Porsche Cayman S, the 987.1. Like all my videos, don't know how I'm gonna do this yet, but we're gonna figure it out. Oh man, yes, here she is. Comes with this little camera that you mount to your windshield. We got some documentation, nice little Catalyst sticker, and these are our mounting hardware and cables to power it. This is the wiring option that I'm gonna try to use. Somebody at Garmin did a nice job at soldering this up. So it's a hardwire connection. So I'm gonna wire it to some switched source somewhere that'll give me power when the car's turned on. Or if you want the easy route, they give you this wiring option that you can plug the USB end into your cigarette lighter. And I believe this is the cable that goes into the camera. And then to mount the device itself, you have two options. You can use this to hard mount it onto somewhere that's permanent, or you can use this suction cup approach, stick it on your windshield. Of course, this can always fall off your windshield, whereas this one's not gonna fall off. So I'm gonna try to find a place that I can mount it permanently. And this is the actual piece that you're gonna mount somewhere. And this is the magnet that attaches to the back of the unit. And finally, here are some little sticky things so you can mount these to your windshield. If you're not gonna tuck the wire up under trim, you can use these to get it out of the way. In case you've never seen one, this is it attached to its magnetic mount, and it is pretty firm. Takes a good amount of force to get that thing off, but there are a couple other mounting options. Garmin sells a ram, essentially a full back that this thing can snap into, and everybody talks about a 3D printed option, which I will probably end up going with, but I'm just gonna get this installed first. I wanna see how much room we have to work with what comes in the box. So you have these two little extension swivels, so I've got them hooked up to the end points here, and I'm gonna take this into the car and see if we can find a place to put this. Of course, Garmin sells longer extensions. You can get them on Amazon that are pretty cheap if you need this to be longer, which I might, we'll find out. This is the track car that it's going into, starting to get it ready for my first track day coming up in about a week and a half. So if you have one of these or are interested in these, subscribe to the channel. I'm doing a lot of stuff to this car. All right, so my buddy Josh that has a GT4 has one of these, and this is where I first saw it and why I bought one. He has his mounted like right here because, I don't know, I didn't pay attention to his dashboard as much as I should have, but I think he doesn't have a lot of this stuff, and he has blank space to mount it. So let's see where we're gonna put ours. An obvious choice for some might be to put it where this panel is, because that is a great fit. If you don't want a radio, you just rip this out because it's your track car and you want to save weight. But I also drive this car away from the track a lot, and I kind of like the radio. So I've just been sitting in the car for a while trying to figure this out, reading some forums. The best option that I found for something is the Renline magnetic phone mounts. You guys have probably seen those. Essentially what happens is you take the radio out, and there is like one screw behind here, and there's a piece of metal that goes right through here that you screw in, and you put this back on it, and then you have a little ball mount here, and they have a little magnetic plate that goes on that ball mount. So I can buy that thing, and shipped it's like $60. And then you still have to buy a 1 inch, because I guess that the one that comes with it's a little less than 1 inches. So you have to buy a 1 inch thing that looks like this from Ram that has a bolt that goes through it. So you take off Renline's mount, you put this one on, and then you could mount this onto that. So that's a lot of work, and they say that that piece of metal is pretty flimsy. I have one of these mounts on the Boxster, and it's awesome for mounting your phone, and I would love to actually have one here for that purpose, and I might get one for that anyway. However, it doesn't seem like it's a great solution because it is pretty flimsy, and I don't know if it would hold the weight of this, and I probably want to get that cage that holds it on even better, which is going to be more weight. So I've been sitting here trying to convince myself just to screw 4 bolts into here and attach this to my glove box. If I were to do that, then then this is kind of how the setup would be, and I think that would be in a great position. The glove box, though, is, I mean, it does move a little bit, unlike here. So this would be another great mounting point, although I think I'd rather screw up a glove box than a dash by drilling into it. So that's kind of what I'm thinking right now. I really don't want to do the suction cup thing, but this seems really appealing because, I don't know. I did find out that I have a little lighter connection right down here. So I'm pretty sure that's where I'll be powering this thing from, because that's super convenient. I also considered this would be a super useful place for it to be if my hazard button wasn't here. So if I built out something there and could attach this right there, then that would be a great place for it to cover this up. And I also saw on 981 models, there's a place called T something or other that has a plate here that on the PSM units, you just slide this thing between the cracks, it looks like, and it just holds itself into place, and it's got some mounting bracket holes on here where you can just mount this directly, and that looks like a cool option for that model, but they don't have one for the 987, it doesn't look like. Mounting it here on the dash would be pretty cool too, because from my eye level, it would look like this. But again, that's drilling into the dash. Okay, so thanks to some inspiration from one of you guys that I contacted on the Facebook forum, I'm going to try to fabricate my own little mount here that is very similar to the Renline phone mount. Now, in my car, I happen to have a cigarette style power outlet here, and so I'm going to try to remove this to get to the panel to see where we have to go. And okay, so this is a T25, I've seen other videos of people and they just have a fabric, little piece of fabric over here instead of this plastic thing with an outlet. So theirs also has a screw holding it in. And look at that. Okay, so that should be out far enough, and now there are 2 more screws, one here and one here. I'm assuming they're gonna both be T25s as well. Yes, these are T20s. Try not to drop it down there. All right, now what I've seen is these things have 3 clips, one like here, here, and here, that are clipped in this way. So we want to push the panel out that way. Straight forward. All right, you can see the bottom one disconnected. All right, I'm gonna film and we brought the real help in. All right, so it should be disconnected now, so just slide right out. Beautiful, thank you, Eric. And these are the 3 clips that go into those 3 clips. Now we have this exposed, so now I have to figure out where we're gonna mount this.
These one of those screws are both.
So we got 2 screw holes right here. Those look like the easiest ones to get access to mount to. There's a side, some kind of screw there on the side. Yeah, so the Renline mount looked like it was a little lower, which is interesting. I don't know where they would mount it to other than these 2, because that's similar to how the Boxster did it, but they are not on the same plane. So that's gonna suck. Okay, so I've kind of devised a plan here with Eric. So those 2 screws that are in here, I think are what we're gonna try to use. This is the piece of metal I bought at Home Depot for like $1.50. It's got some weight-saving holes in it already. So I think we're going to try to bend it 90 degrees at the bottom and cut it so you can see these screws are on 2 different planes. That top one is deeper than this one. So we're gonna try to form some tabs to fold so they will go over the screw holes so we can attach it there and then have it running parallel to the radio like this so that the trim piece will still fit on there. And the guy that showed me his version of this originally had to do a separate piece because he had a 90-degree bend coming out this way that he attached a separate ball mount to. And the reason he had to attach it separately, he told me, is because the trim piece that we have to put back in there, it wouldn't fit if you've got a 90-degree coming out this way. So I thought, why not make the 90-degree go out to the left, and then we can still get the trim piece in. So the only complications is it covers a little bit of the radio, but I don't ever use the AM dial, the AM button, so, or that scan button. So I think if we bend this 90 degrees where that, it's, for this piece, we would have to do it where that line is that I drew on this, and then this ball would mount perfectly on there, cover up all the sharp ends even. And this is the ball that came with the catalyst, and then we could mount it right there. So is this going to be quite long enough? That's what we have to figure out, if that gap between his finger and the ball is all that we have to take off at the bottom. So I think we're going to try to get some cardboard and mock this up, but it looks like a really reasonable route to go. All right, just to prep it, we're gonna go ahead and remove these 2. And I think that bottom one might even make this glove compartment loose enough to pull out a little bit. Let's see, I don't know. Yeah. We were thinking that maybe one of the tabs could slide under that piece of plastic right there, but I don't know. It doesn't feel like it's going anywhere. Should probably magnetize that. All right, I just traced out on a little thin piece of cardboard. This was the package that my sandpaper came in. And we're going to use this as the template to try to mock it up. Nice. It's not open yet. You got to click that little clicker. Oh, dang it.
You get a straight edge. Draw this line. And I'm going to make a cut. Just so I can bend this paper up.
Yep.
That way I'll fold whatever length we need to make the 90-degree bends for the two different planes. So this one's going to be on the top and it's deeper, so it should be longer.
See, the bottom one will just be a little fold.
Actually might need to go deeper.
Yeah, you gotta go deeper to get to that factor.
This would be something like that, right?
I think so. Or if we don't cut off that middle tab and just leave it like it is, then I think the trim piece will push up against it and give it a little more support, probably, right?
Yeah, we can.
So we can just leave it sticking out like that. It's
the
same as the bottom.
It should be pretty darn close.
All right, where's the bend happen now? So if we bend it, gap probably. Or I guess it's just as much gap as we can. We put that ball, put that ball on it.
Yeah, I figure once
Hold that ball on this paper and then we can see how much we can bend. Got a good clearance? Yes.
Yeah, so it'll be just perfect.
Yes. Awesome.
Just have to figure out, get these measurements a little bit better, transfer it onto the metal and cut it out.
All right, here is our mock-up. So we're gonna make one cut right here. And then we're just gonna bend right there. And that might be all we have to do if that clears. Oh yeah, we gotta make our bend there for a little one. Well, that'll make it easy to bend, but less solid. Are the holes in the same position? Yeah, pretty much the same on that side, right? Yep.
Right here.
All right, we got our labels. Cut, bend, bend. And that's our mock mounting hole location. So that hole might work for our mounting hole.
It'll be close.
Let's see. All right, so we're gonna go with the hold it in the vise, cut it with a Dremel and cutoff wheel. Well done.
Seems pretty straight.
Yep. Fly pretty hot. Yes.
Double check the bends, bending the right direction. So, it's coming this way.
Yes.
Yeah. You have a hammer or something?
Yeah. It's a good 90. So far enough in that this is going to clear the corner.
Should.
All right. Very good. We'll be selling these for $75 a piece.
Went a little over.
Straighten it out.
Yeah, just went a hair over on it. There. Should be close enough to try.
Let's give it a shot. All right, so we're just gonna straighten this bottom one back out and make our bend a little more towards the end of the piece of material.
Estimate screw hole.
All right, fit number 2.
Oh, that'll work.
Oh yeah, that is a beauty. You just have enough material down there. So yeah, we'll drill out our screw hole there. Might have to go even a tiny bit more right of their circle. What are you thinking?
The screw hole,
think
yeah.
it'll work?
I think the screw hole probably needs to open up a little bit.
I'm at the top one.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's drill a hole.
I think the top one would probably be best drilling a hole right next to the edge and then opening it up as a slot. Since the head of that screw's so big, it'll just sandwich it there.
Ah, I see, yeah, just slot it, okay.
Yeah.
And then our bottom hole is really, really close. Yeah, let's see where the actual hole is.
Right there.
All right, cool, let's drill. All right, I just used a punch just to get a little divot in here started so that we can drill. And this is a, what was this, a 9/16?
I think so.
Oh, 9/64 inch drill bit. So
I don't want to hold it by hand.
yeah. All right, so if we were doing this over from the beginning, we would just lay this piece of metal flat, drill the hole here where we know it now needs to be, and then cut and bend it, but here we are. Ta-da, we have a hole.
No, it's not.
All right, not quite big enough. We're gonna go up to a 5/32. All right, we're just gonna go ahead and slot that thing with our Dremel again. All right, so that should fit in perfectly and hold that down. All right, so the hole that's already in here is gonna fit. We just need to make the hole a little bit bigger. All right, just gonna try to drill this hole out a little bit bigger.
Oh, it's just like the same size.
Made it a tiny bit bigger. I think we need to go one more.
Yeah. Yeah, just a hair.
All right, 3/16. Success. All right, third time. Looks pretty charming.
Looks like the bottom was still a little bit off there.
Top looks good. Bottom, we just need to go out to the right a little more. So where do we need to
Hold
cut?
like right there.
It's to the bottom right of that.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
There's not much metal to work with. We'll have to work with the bottom.
So the bottom hole, we might do the same thing and just slide it from the outside to where the hole is. So where is the hole behind it?
Like right down here.
Okay. So you're thinking about sliding between those lines?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's a good thing I don't have sport seats in here yet.
Oh,
Big pan is.
Yeah.
Alright, so we're just gonna line it up and actually
That top hole lined up.
try to mark where that bottom hole actually is.
It's like right here.
Now I'm thinking we just draw a line from our current hole through that hole all the way to the outside and then just make that slot. So we have as much material as possible around it. All right, yeah, we just slot that thick line on the right there.
This side.
Ooh, that's a big slot.
Put a washer
It's
in
large.
Should be alright.
Got some good bite.
Could always add a small little washer underneath it too.
All right. Oh, yep, I see the holes nicely now. All right, let's go ahead and screw them in and
See where we want to make that other bend.
yeah, see if that bend is.
Just a hot screw.
Feel sturdy?
Should be with that piece holding it like this.
Yeah. And when we do that 90-degree bend, it's not going to wobble like that. All right, I like it. So where we have the bend drawn on here, well, that's where it's actually going to mount to. So we want to bend it. Probably we would draw a line starting from here and then following the contour of this trim. So from here, like up to here. So yeah, we can measure the distance that we are away from the radio from here to this corner, and then measure that same distance up here and connect those lines. All right, what we are debating now is how to avoid this button and how to have it not sloped so far down. So I think maybe the play is from where this mark is up to where it touches the radio instead of the same distance out. I think that might keep this a little higher once it is bent in. So we're bringing in our simulator again to test some theories. Oops. All right, test number one, the mark where our ball will be, the edge of it, and then where the radio touches. So we can bend along that line and see how that looks. Gonna bend along that line. And
That's going
because
downwards,
our other option is to fold it along this line.
I think that's the way we want it. Right.
So that's better, right?
Maybe even more of an angle towards that direction.
Okay, so we could bend it straight on this line here. Put it up against it flush, and I'll mark where both of those lines are. Yeah, and peel the top part down just a little bit so I can see. I move this hand so I can see where that other line that we drew here is. Up here. Okay. All right, so there's our third option.
What, straight?
Yeah. So then just the ball and tab will be sticking out.
edges. It's actually the straightest. And obviously it'll be further back, but this will simulate what the bend will do.
Really?
Line up the two edges.
Because that looks really good.
Yes, it does.
Huh.
Right, if I line up the top and bottom edges of the cardboard and follow that line,
yep,
that'll be what it'll be, just a little bit further back.
Yeah. Shockingly, that does seem like the best option, which I guess makes sense because it's flash this way. It's just tilted down lower, which is fine. All right, I think we made up our mind. We bend along that line we already have drawn. All right, we're just gonna line the ball up flat on the edge of this thing. Mark our holes. All right, so we got 2 sets of holes. So we're gonna go with the further ones back, and then we're just gonna round off the corners. All right, again with our 3/16, because our 3/16 fits through these holes, we're gonna have to buy some mounting hardware. That's one thing that this did not come with. So I have some silver sheet metal screws that we could use, but I want something black, make it look a little bit nicer. So before we bend it, we'll go ahead and mark our holes. And then drill them out. And I did just buy a drill press today, which would be very useful, but we're too lazy to assemble it right now. Okay, 4 holes drilled, ready to mount. Yeah, I would put the bend line right on the edge.
Right on the edge of it?
Yeah, because that way if a little bit of it behind it gets bent, then there's nothing to see and nothing to have to paint or cover up.
I see what you're saying.
All right, now this one needs to bend that way, yes. It's just the teeth of the...
I guess there's still a little bit that sticks out.
All right, so now we just need to buzz off the corners. Yeah, just use the grinding wheel and...
Finish it off with a file.
Fine precision surgery. Okay, because I know I'll get questions. Okay, I guess we're gonna start with this bend over here. 45 millimeters
Okay,
to that bend
to the edge.
And from that bend to this bend, 62 millimeters.
Yeah, 62.
And I guess do that bend. So this depth here is 20.4 millimeters. And that guy there is 8.64 millimeters. And can you like put on the outside of that one and the inside of this one?
Go this, like that.
Yeah. So this depth down here is 11.5 millimeters, we'll call it. And then the distance from here to here, 12.42 millimeters.
Right.
All right, that's about it. Let me,
Total width.
oh yeah, width, 46.33 millimeters.
Yeah, 46.3.
I guess that's probably some common inch. All right, this is the original plate we started with. I bought 2 of them. So 46 millimeters-ish. The receipt says that these things are 1 13/16 by 5 tie plate, 98 cents. So about 127 millimeters. So hopefully that's about 5 inches.
That would kill me.
All right, so we're just gonna sand this down with this grinding, sanding wheel and then slap some paint on it. So this corner really down to here is all that's gonna show. Everything else is gonna be hidden. final step. Just got a little bit of matte black here. Getting the back for Eric because he likes to have everything done nicely. All right, everything else will be buried. All right, I got 4 of these M5 0.80 by 12 screws and some M5 0.80 nuts. And this is what they look like. So put it on with these nuts. These nuts are, they have the nylon locking nuts, whatever you call those guys. So those are on there, not going anywhere, and the threads are the perfect length for these nuts. So now the drum roll is, we'll see if this attaches and clears everything. Okay, so you should slide in like this, and like this, and oh yeah, we have clearance here. We might just be touching there. Looks like we're just gonna clear the volume knob. I like it. All right. Tighten this guy. And this guy. All right, got those tightened down. Oh yeah. We got a little bit of sway this way, but I think when we put our trim piece back on, it's gonna stop that up and down. Super solid here. And yeah, nothing is even touching over here. Oh, very nice. Okay, now let's see if I can't slide this guy back in here. All right, let's fiddle with it till that lines up. Oh, there we go. That seemed to snap in there firmly. Oh yeah, that's gonna be way sturdier than the Renline mount. All right, let me reattach everything down here. Oh man, here it is. We are all buttoned back up and it sticks through there like that. So let me go ahead and attach my catalyst. All right, here she is attached. So I just have one of the little tiny arms attached to it that comes with it. So I have, so if I loosen this up, I've got a little bit of range to play around with here. So I think up here is up here where I have it is a good position. It looks like it's high enough out of the stick shift to not bother with it. I might get one that's just a little bit longer to bring it up a little bit higher, maybe in front of the vents. But yeah, I think this is gonna work very nicely. So it's got almost no movement tapping on it this direction and this direction. It does move a little bit. I still have my protective film on here. I've never set it up still. Yeah, the only thing that's allowing it to move back and forth is the little bit of freedom of movement in this direction, as you can see, because it does flex a little bit here. So I could easily stick something soft back here to close up that gap so that it wouldn't have any movement, and then it would be really sturdy. So might experiment around with that. If you guys have any suggestions for me, drop them in the comments below. But I think I've figured out how to mount a catalyst to a Porsche Cayman 987. Oh, and I should also definitely add, when I'm not at the track, I'm gonna take this off and I'm gonna get another attachment to go on here for my phone, because this is gonna be where I mount my phone, because that's what I use my GPS and stuff, my Waze on. So you can either just buy any kind of simple RAM mounted, like those X mount things to hold your phone, or I always have a magnetic thing on the very back of my phone that I've always used. So I'm gonna try to find something like that. When I do, I'll put a link in the description, of course, for that too. All right, so if you guys have never seen the Renline magnetic phone mount, this is what it looks like. It has a really small ball here, and they have this thing that you put on it that is an adapter that is a magnet for a magnetic mount. And so I'm going to try to find something just like this that goes on the full 1-inch RAM mount. But you can see, I don't know if you can see, I want to show you the metal here. So it has the same kind of design and attachment, and it has a lot of flex in it because it's even thinner than the metal that I used. But you're only holding a phone here, so it doesn't really matter. It doesn't flex when I'm driving with the phone, so I've got a good deal of confidence in my new bracket. All right, nothing like a live road test. We got Shop Dog down here with us. She's a little nervous. She's not a big car rider. All right, so far so good. I'm leaving it off so you can see the reflection. I think it'll show the movement better. So there's definitely a little movement, but all right, let's do some hard braking here. Construction ahead. Oh yeah, I mean, there's a little movement, but this is definitely workable. All right, I picked up a 6-inch RAM extension, and now with that guy, it is well out of the way of here. Before, if I wasn't paying attention, I could just barely nick that with my hand, but you can see it is in a great high position, still way below the view out of the cockpit. So yeah, I really like this. All right, I'm gonna take the 90-degree cable and plug it into our mount up here. All right, and we'll run this back here, plug the USB end in here, and plug that down there. All right, that would have been a good time to do this while I had the trim out, so I could hide all of that back underneath here and tuck all the excess under there. So we'll do that later. And we got it stuck on, so apparently that outlet is powered all the time. So I'll just have to either unplug it or yank the screen off between sessions, so that won't be a problem. This is my first time firing it up, so this will be interesting. All right, so we'll go through a little startup apparently. Accept all of their goodies. All right, let's connect to our Wi-Fi, and then it's gonna update device. And I guess it's gonna automatically update the device for us, so that's nice. Yeah, I don't have any headset.
You don't get faster by wishing for it, dreaming about it. You get faster by mastering your craft. Always looking for that edge in performance. Next left, carry more speed. Find your line to faster times. Catalyst, the driving performance optimizer for real track racing. Only from Garmin.
That's an awesome little hype video. Oh gosh, making me decide things. Red for fast? Well, we know what this is gonna be. Okay, I'm pretty sure I don't have an account here. Of course I read that. Gosh. All right, we created the account. Oh, geez, I have to enter all this now. All right, we're good. Still good. All right, so I still haven't mounted my camera. I guess I should do that now. I just sprayed a little glass cleaner on here just to make sure we're nice and clean wherever we're gonna mount it. And instead of mounting mine right away, I'm just gonna hold it up there and go through these next steps so that when it shows me what it looks like, I can do some final adjustments if I want. So I just have it plugged in here, and then I'm gonna connect this to the back of this. So that USB goes right here in the top. Stick this back on, go to next. Yes, I plugged it in. All right, finally detected it. Now I have my camera here. And all right. So what I wanted to see is if I could mount the tip of this under the black part, under the decal, but still have it right here, all the way up next to the mirror. Just wanted to make sure I wouldn't be seeing any of the black. I can tilt it. Oh man, yeah, I can tilt it way up and never see that. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and mount that like right here. Oh yeah, taking that off the lens of the camera helps a lot. Makes it much clearer. All right, cool. So we have our camera mounted. Yeah, they give you a nice little centering thing to center it on the bonnet. So we want to look further down the road. All right, something like that. Okay, cool. So we got temperature, wind, humidity. I guess it depends on the track you're going to. Let's check out our settings. We can do a little system update for the first time. Yeah, let's download that guy. All right, it took about 1 minute to update that, so let's restart this. So yeah, they warn you, don't interrupt their process. Yes, let's do it. All right, that took about 2 minutes to install. And it took about another 4 minutes to get back up and running again. Yeah, I think we're doing that. All right, we got improved navigation. Ooh, and I'm on the Nürburgring. I can do some warm-up laps. All right, so let's see what Sync does. It has a Catalyst app to review your new uploaded driving sessions. All right, cool. So I'll need to get the Garmin Catalyst app. Let's see what tracks we have. Italy, Korea. We got all kinds of tracks on here. Oh man. All right, so we're gonna look for our home track. VIR. let's do, that's cool. They have it split out for all the different courses. Try full. Cool, you can add some notes down here, it looks like. All right, we don't have anything recorded there yet. Oh, that's cool. You can tell it if you're on a dry or a wet track. Let's see, lap timer settings, me. That's cool. So based on the driver, you can, so that's cool. So based on the driver, you can set different settings. You can recheck that alignment. Car, let's see what kind of settings do I have. Oh, that's it. Cool, so what happens if I hit start? Yeah, I had a 206. Yeah, that was me. All right, well, we'll see this in action in about a week and a half. All right, so I got my wire from the camera coming up here. My headliner is flexible enough to pull down enough to stuff the wire underneath it. So I just came all the way around the edge, and right here I just kind of poked it back here. This is the only part that's not really secure yet. And then I just wedged it in here down the crease, and then down here starting at the bottom. I'm just gonna tuck it under my weather stripping right here. So this is the seal for the door. So I'm just gonna run this all the way up here. All right, so it's in there. Just tucked it up under here, and on the bottom, you can see it right here. This is some like soft, foamy stuff that allows us to get tucked in here nicely. All right, so we got both powers coming in here. I have this running down here. I'm just gonna tuck that back in. All the excess wiring I just have shoved in that nice little hole, and our power to our outlet. And here we have our custom install. So you got two wires disappearing back there, one popping out for power. So it looks pretty freaking stock and slick if you ask me. All right, there it is, all firing up. I just remembered right in time, I got a 256 gig Samsung Evo card. That's the one they recommend. So I have plenty of space to record videos on track. All right, these just came in from Amazon, so I'm going to use this and a ball adapter to get my phone mount working. I'm going to unscrew the magnetic part from here. So that leaves this small 17 millimeter ball there, and this is now ready to accept another 17 millimeter ball. I'll steal the nut from there as well. Put the nut on this piece. Now that it is attached to this ball, it's still firm, but it can still be rotated around to any position. I attached the 1-inch ball size to the little arm that came with the Garmin. All right, so when the catalyst is no longer in use, I'm just going to unplug it, remove this long extension. Go ahead and pop the little arm on here and tighten it down some. Now I have all kinds of flexibility to move this wherever I want it, here or over here out of the way. And this is actually my phone. It has a magnet on the back of it. So my phone is now attached, tighten it up, and ta-da, phone mount. Phone pointing the other way. So now not only did I make a catalyst accessory, I made a phone mount accessory that's even sturdier than the Renline one. All right, guys, so next step up, I already have some plans to meet with somebody to get this part measured and out for some CNC machinery, and even probably black powder dipped afterwards. So If you want one of these, I just gave you the instructions on how to build your own. If you don't want to go that route, but you want one of these, I'm going to plan on selling these too. So check the description for a link on where to buy those. All right, guys, it is about 2 years later, and I am finally going to finish this video now that I have manufactured parts. Well, I got 5 of them. Thanks to McIntyre Manufacturing in Lexington, North Carolina. I'm going to replace my first initial design with one of these beautifully bent and powder coated finished parts. So again, this is my original bracket that I've been using, and that's how it looks installed. All right, so you can see that this one has been refined and adjusted a little bit, so it's at a slightly different angle. So I think it's going to be even better for the placement of the Garmin. Oh man, this thing is beautiful now. All right, new bracket, nice installed, flush in there. That bad boy is super solid. And it's going to be even more solid once we put this back in because it will brace up against it. Yes, there we go. What a super clean install. Oh man, huge shout out to BJ over at McIntyre for producing this thing for me. Perfect fit, flawless, love it. Thank you guys so much. So yeah, if you guys are interested in purchasing one of these things, reach out to me and let me know. If I have enough interest, I will do a little production run on these things. Oh man, I think it looks pretty great here in the cockpit. Let's get out there and drive. Man, I was excited to see that Garmin fire up for the first time in a couple years and cannot wait to get this monster back out on the track. So hopefully I will see some of you guys out there soon, VIR or some other areas. I'm gonna try to hit CMP, start doing some different tracks. Yeah, look forward to it, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next video.